Hi, welcome to Sean's Workshop. Today I thought I'd talk about another important tool in the shop, and that's clamps. As the saying goes, you can never have enough clamps. So let me start with ones that I use the most. This is one of those quick adjustable clamps. These work great for clamping something really quick to a bench. Just put it on the bench, ratchet it, and the material is secure. Quick push of the button and it releases it. These obviously come in different lengths. The ones that I use most are probably the 6-inch that I have here, and I also have some 12 inchers. Those are probably the two most common sizes that I use. So this is a very useful clamp. And actually this one here is relatively cheap. On sale you can usually get this type of clamp for under $3 a clamp, which, you know, if you need a lot of them, that's pretty inexpensive nowadays. Another clamp that I use quite often, and again more of the smaller size, is one of these clamps that has the turn screw here to adjust. Still has the quick adjustment this way, but this one you can get a little bit more torque, I feel, as opposed to this one. So in those cases where I want just a little bit more pressure, I'll use this type of clamp. And again, these come in various lengths. I think 6, 12, and 36 are probably going to be your most popular sizes. There might be some that are 48-inch, but this is the one that I use quite often as well. Also very quick clamping are these spring-loaded clamps. You can see that I've got a couple different sizes here. These are two of the more popular sizes that I use here in the shop. This is quick these come in handy if you want to quickly hold something that you've glued together, hit it with maybe your nailer, and then you can take the clamp off again. So these work really well for that. One thing that I saw on the internet is you can modify these. You can see I took one of these and I actually drilled a hole on either face of it, bought this rubber band strapping, in which you can get at a lot of home centers, and then use these twist tie locks here, and that way you can get it for, like, if you have to put on edge banding, it's a cheap alternative to some of the other methods or other style clamps that you have out there. And then it would hold your banding on, your edge banding on like that. You just clamp it on. So I've bought several of these and made this type of modification to that. So that works great as well for gluing on the edges. Another good clamp that you can get a lot of pressure on is these pipe clamps. You buy the pipe separate, but the clamps come as a package. You know, the screw vise on this end, and then the adjustable one on this end, and then you can just buy different lengths of piping for that. So this is one that I use quite often. Again, when I need more torque to pull something together, these work great for that. This is another cheaper alternative. Again, this is a brand that I purchased, and the reason I like this one, it has this nice flat surface, so your glue-up panels will set on there very nicely, and it's got legs, and you just simply adjust this down to get to the close dimension, and then screw this end to lock your piece, or to glue your two pieces of wood together. So this is a very useful clamp, and I like this one because it's very lightweight. One thing that you can do to make it more rigid is cut a piece of wood and actually insert it in here, pop this end off, and just put the piece of wood in here, and that'll make it more rigid for a clamp for that. I don't use these when I need a lot of torque, but that is if you only had this style clamp, you could do that to reinforce it so you don't get the bend that you would otherwise with not having that wood in there. This style clamp, these parallel clamps, here the jaws stay parallel. This particular brand, but you're getting up there in price. So unless you really have a lot of specific use for these, they are nice, but keep in mind they will be more on the expensive end. But again, they clamp really well. Hold things, you can get a lot of torque on these as well. For your clamping needs, but they are a little bit heavier. So again, if you're looking for something just quick, lightweight, I'd go with this. The next would probably be the pipe clamp for a little more torquing pressure, and then these are pretty much the ultimate. I would rank these as one of the top type clamps. There's various makers. I just happen to have this brand here, but You can get it in other brands as well. More specialized clamp, here's, similar to the one that I was showing before. This same style, I think they're called F-style clamps. You can get one, this one you can see has a little deeper reach, so if you need to get into, maybe into the wood a little bit deeper, you can see obviously it's going to reach quite a bit deeper than the other style. So I have a few of these on hand that when I need to get into reach a deeper area. Here's one, doesn't have quite the jaw length you can see, but it's also long. This one is longer, so this again comes in handy for those different needs when you might have to reach a little deeper. And then as far as if you really need a big one, like let's say you're gluing up a toy chest or a cedar chest that you made and you need to glue the ends, here's a pipe clamp, same thing as this one, but obviously you buy the longer length of pipe, slip your jaws on here, and then these are actually specialized things that you can buy that slide right over. You can see it slides right over the actual jaw of the pony style clamp here. So again, this works great because it's deeper reaching and you still have the torque with it. Then for like if you're gluing up like a small jewelry box and you need to hold the sides square, here's one. This is a band clamp that you can clamp around your wood. You just adjust these jaws, on each of the corners, like so. Takes a little bit of fiddling around to get it right. And then you can just pull this together, and you can clamp your jewelry box sides together like so. This one, obviously, I'm not doing it the right way, but you get the concept of how this one would work as well. So these come in handy for gluing up like a jewelry box type thing. There's quite a few other styles, brands, different lengths, like I said, price ranges. It's kind of one of those things, you get what you pay for, but if you're not using a lot of torque on them, like I said, I've had a very good luck with these. I use these quite heavily and they're relatively cheap for small projects. And then for bigger projects, these are the three that I probably use the most out of besides these smaller ones for gluing up projects. Hope you enjoyed this content. If you'd like to see more content from Sean's Workshop, please click on the button over here. Thanks for watching.